Next one is a really special one. I'm learning a lot. I don't know if y'all are learning a lot of gaming, a lot of incredible panels. And this next one we have coming up, how to create sustainable Web3 games. If you're interested in Web3 gaming, this is the panel for you. And it's a very special one in particular. We got some great panelists, and we have a very great moderator as well, a personal friend, and one of the most talented creators in the entire Web3 space. So look, without further ado, welcome to the stage, first and foremost, your moderator, Michaela Laluz, followed by an absolutely stacked panel of Michael, Alex, Lauren, and Banaz. NFT Paris, come on, give them some love. Clap it up one time, one time, one time.
What is up, Paris? Let's go. Great energy in the room. Thank you so much for coming to this panel. It's gonna be a really fun one. Gaming is a huge industry, and we have some amazing panelists. Come on now, don't be shy. I don't bite. I'm scaring them a little bit with my headset. Who here has tried an Apple Vision before? Raise your hand. I could see you guys, by the way. Nobody's hand is raised. Ashley, lie for me, lie for me. Okay, cool. Well, I could see everybody, and I could see that we have an amazing room right now, and we're gonna have an amazing discussion. We have a lot of high-value people, and I'm gonna actually get them to introduce themselves real quick, say a little bit about, who they are, and we're gonna get into it and talk about sustainable Web3 gaming. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start. Hi, Paris. So my name is Lauren. I'm the director of partnership for a company called Illuvium. It's a Web3 game designated to building AAA titles in the Web3 space. I joined my position as the director of partnerships 1.5 years ago, and prior to this, I've been working in crypto since 2017. Really started my career in venture capital. Then I was running the first crypto precious metal exchange, and started a stablecoin protocol, the Standard, myself. And yeah, 2022, I make the exit and joined Illuvium. And it's great to be here and see so many great people and familiar faces. Yeah, that's all about me.
You're all avatars to me. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I have my notes here. Instead of looking down on the paper, I'm looking up to the side. Let's go.
Alex Matsuo, hi everyone. So I'm a part of the Web3 team at Amazon Web Services, very decentralized player. You might wondering what we're doing in the Web3 space. So actually we are involved in the gaming area, part of the Blockchain Gaming Alliance, as Sebastian mentioned earlier. And even on the Web3 space, we try to collaborate with the whole spectrum of ecosystem from VCs, projects, and enterprise level.
Yo, GM.
GM. Come on, we need to get a GM. Or is it a BJ here? It's a BJ here, Michael. It's a BJ.
Michael, I'm working on ZK Sync right now, and ZK Sync is just tech that makes Ethereum go fast. Prior to that, I was at Activision Blizzard, launched 5 games from Modern Warfare 2 to the last one I did was Diablo 4. And then way back when, I started out with the Ethereum seed round and worked on ETH 2.0.
Woo!
Welcome and hello, Paris. Excited to be here. So my name is Banaz. I'm one of the co-founders at Block Games, and we are building a player network to solve user acquisition problems for the mobile gaming industry. And prior Block Games, I've been in a publishing space, so publishing a Web3 mobile game called Shatterpoint together with the OpenLoot team. And excited to be here on the panel discussing the sustainability of Web3 games.
Let's give it up. Guys, can we get some excitement in the room? Can we get a big BJ? Can we get a big GM? First and foremost, I want to say shout out to NFT Paris. Thank you so much for having us here, and also Rug Radio for bringing me here. Thank you so much. This is an incredible, incredible conference. There are so many amazing people. I hope that you look to the right, look to your left, look up, look down, and introduce yourself to everybody around you, because you never know who you can change the world with. Okay, so let's get into this amazing conversation. We're gonna be talking about sustainable Web3 gaming. What does that even mean? And what is a sustainable Web3 game? Anybody all at once, popcorn style. Go for it.
I can start. Obviously, AWS and Amazon is not directly publishing or creating games, but we're working with the ecosystem. And what I believe and what I hope is that in 5 years or 10 years, we won't say sustainable Web3 gaming, because by definition, the sustainability aspect of the games is embedded in Web3. What I mean by that, I mean, it's very obvious, but as of now, in traditional gaming, I think up to 60 or 70% of the revenue is captured by middlemen or publishers.
60 or 70%?
Up to.
Wow, that's a lot.
If you move all of this into the Web3 space with the ownership aspect of things, suddenly it creates a very healthy ecosystem, a fairer economy, and the revenue generated by the games is redistributed to the players, to the developers. So it's sustainable in itself, because suddenly you don't need 10 million or 100 million of players to be sustainable as a game, but few thousand players could sustain this whole ecosystem and community. So obviously this ownership aspect is very key. It's a bit to do an analogy. If you go on holidays somewhere else, you rent an Airbnb, you're just a consumer. And when you play video games in the traditional Web2 games, you're also just a consumer. Now, when you own a piece of land in the sandbox, when you own a piece of house in Paris, suddenly you are owner. You are transformed from a consumer to an active member of this community, of this society, and you care about the whole ecosystem, and to make sure that everything is healthy and everything goes well. So that's my take on it.
That's really interesting. So it's about removing the middleman. So I'd actually like to talk about why we kind of need Web3 gaming, because I know a lot of people that are gamers, quote unquote, online, they have this, in a way, negative perception on NFTs and Web3, and I never understood why, because it's like, when you're gaming, you're spending so much time grinding on Fortnite or, you know, any of these games for skins, and then at the end of the day, if it's a Web2 game, it could be shut down in like 2 seconds. You could lose all of your assets that you spent so much time working on. So I would love to talk about why we need Web3 gaming, and maybe, you know, touch on why you think there's this like public perception that's maybe sometimes a little negative.
Well, I think that's the lure of why Vitalik had started Ethereum, is that he was a player on World of Warcraft and his server went down and he just lost years of just, you know, his avatar, his player progress, all the items, the legendary items. And I think his thesis was that if World of Warcraft was running on decentralized computing networks, that you would just spin up new servers and he can just port over to, you know, different set of nodes. But again, like, personally, I don't think that's why we need Web3 gaming. Web3 gaming it's just another computing paradigm for games, for experiences. No different than desktop, console, mobile. You know, I think if people could figure out the business model for Web3 games, you essentially unlock billions in value, you know, hopefully trillions of hours and just people having fun, making lifelong friendships. And then ultimately it just differentiates itself, just like mobile games differentiated itself from desktop and console games. And then it also introduced new business models like free-to-play, as well as unlocked an entire category of new gamers, just, you know, casual gamers.
You dropped a lot of alpha there. I had no idea that that's one of the reasons Vitalik created Ethereum, which is pretty much the second blockchain to exist. You have Bitcoin and then you have Ethereum. And it's because he lost his assets in a video game. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Everything's always can trace back to games.
Wow. Really? You know what? It's so true, because NFTs as well, they're all, it's like people like that gamification to it, to those projects. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts on this panel about this. Michael, I think that was great. But again, why do you think, maybe you can go ahead and tell us? I don't think you've spoken yet.
So I think from the Web3 games perspective, games overall are fun experiences, and at the end of the day, games are supposed to stay this way. And I think the reason why we've had such a negative impact across the media over the last few years, because the initial gaming experiences that were developed on blockchains and using the distributed technology, they're more like financial instruments, and they looked much less as gaming experiences, the ones players are very much used to playing on a daily basis. And I think from the development perspective, it takes years and years to craft and develop a fun and engaging experience, which a lot of players comes and play. And I think we're still yet at that phase that we are yet to see basically all of those amazing experiences that are going to be developed and are going to unlock new experiences when using ownership mechanics. Because at the end of the day, what Web3 does is just brings assets and the ownership angle for all of your digital collectibles which you receive. And I think from the ownership perspective and from the business model perspective, when you are developing a game, it just simply makes sense because you're building a community from day one who participate and co-own your assets and are engaging with your game in a totally different way. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, may I take it? Okay. First, I would like to bring it back to the original question.
Yep.
And then go from there to this question.
Do it.
So first, the word sustainability, yeah? Where does it come from and what does it mean? It's actually it's not coming from the tech industry. It's coming from the foresting industry. It means simply to take out one tree from the forest, and for this one tree that you cut down, you take 2 that you plant and you grow. So it's actually, you take out one and you grow 2, you're sustainable. Okay, when it comes to the gamers, it's the same thing. Like, when you look at the gamers, especially in the Web3 space, there are not too many. Like, I believe the number is around 3 million, maybe a little bit more, that are actively playing Web3 games. But the market is 3 billion people. So how do we attract the 3 billion people gaming market to Web3? And here comes the factor of sustainability. We need to really get gamers that, let's say, 1 leaves, 2 grow. No, that's not what I'm saying. We want to be net positive when it comes to the gamers playing Web3 games. And why do we need Web3 games? I think the answer to this is really my personal take on this. I've been a gamer since I was very, very young, and always enjoy playing good games. And the problem is I spend a lot of time that I call now wasted, because I think future generations playing Web3 games and owning those assets, they will have the ability to, for example, pay for their studies, or spend the time a little bit more wise playing those Web3 games and truly own the assets rather than just wasting time. And on the other hand side, there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the Web3 space when it comes to interoperability, not only between gaming titles within one universe, but across universes. It comes down to the special weapon, for example, you have in one game that you can use now in several games. And the gaming space, is really building digital worlds, and with Web3 technology, with blockchain technology, we have the ability to really get those worlds connected. And that's another big plus for me in Web3, and I'm very bullish when it comes to Web3 gaming. That's why I'm in the space.
That's why you're here speaking and sending it. I mean, wow, just learned a lot from you guys. Okay. It's a lot. I didn't know the word sustainability with the forest. I'm like going in all different places. Okay, I can't think about Web3 gaming without thinking about play to earn. And I want to hear everybody on this panel's thoughts on play to earn and really just, let's start from there.
I think play to earn was fantastic from a PR perspective at some point. However, if we're talking about sustainable gaming, Web3 gaming, I think we need to change the narrative.
So you think it was a little bit of a PR marketing buzzword? Maybe.
I don't think it was intended to be PR. I'm just saying that it attracted a lot of mass and a lot of visibility towards Web3 gaming, but maybe for the wrong reason for some part of the core gamers. So that's why I think if we want to be looking 5 years, 10 years ahead, we need to change the narrative and not talk about only play to earn, but maybe, I don't know, play and own or play to build. Going back to this ownership thing and being part of a community that you want to build and sustain. That's the first point. And the second point as well, I think it's very important, is Web3 is a spectrum. It's a very new industry. And we talk about Web2 against Web3. I don't believe that it's one against the other. It's really a spectrum. And the end goal philosophy is to be owning the thing. So how do you own things? Obviously through wallets and potentially NFT, but it's really a spectrum. Not every single Web3 games need to have everything decentralized. At the end of the day, as you mentioned, it's really a matter of having a good experience and being part of this community, but because you own it. Do you really need decentralized compute? Maybe, maybe not. Do you really need decentralized everything when you power a Web3
Wait,
game?
but how would that work? How would it be Web3 gaming, or what would be the difference if it's not fully decentralized?
Well, for example, you have a lot of Web2 players who are incorporating some aspect of the Web3 philosophy, which is NFT. So players have a wallet without knowing it, and then they can transfer the assets externally to play and to use those assets in other games. So there's already bridges between Web2, Web3 that are existing.
Yeah, I think when people talk about play to earn, I look at it more from the perspective of business models, right? If you track it all the way back to desktop, right? Like the business model is what actually makes essentially gaming go boom or broke, right? In that you had this whole era, at least when I was growing up on desktop and console, it was, pay to play. You go out there and you go buy Warcraft, or you pay $80 for Call of Duty. And then things shifted as mobile came out. And then it became free to play, right? So the rise, this is like 2010, you started seeing things like Fruit Ninja. And then 2012, you started seeing things like Candy Crush and League and Fortnite. And a lot of that is off of this new business model, free to play, where you can make $1 billion a year off of a 1% to 3% conversion rate. So when I saw play to earn, I was excited because it was like a brand new business model. And whenever you have a new business model, that's when a new computing platform like blockchain can actually take off for gaming. The problem was that there's two things that a business model has to do. One, it has to introduce a new player base. So with mobile gaming, that created a whole new category of gamers called casual gamers. Like my wife now, she was never like, smashing, doing dungeons and raids in Warcraft, but she's like crushing candy, right? So she came into the 3.1 billion player community. And the thing that I loved about Play to Earn was that it brought gamblers in. And this is what existing gamers hate. It's like tribalism. But it did bring a new category of gamers. What it didn't do is the second part, which is the fun quotient. None of those early games, which were just prototypes, were really that fun to play. And that was like the number one thing of a successful game. Pal World, Stardew Valley, the things that are just taken off overnight. It just has to be fun. And then your friends and your family have to be on there too. It's a form of entertainment, social media, which I think the existing Web3 games still have a long ways to go. And you just see that in like the daily active users. It's just not there.
I think I would like to also touch base on what Michael said around the business model, free to play. So free to play rose up with the whole iPhone and all of the mobile phones, and that evolved the model to where right now mobile game developers are earning revenue from only 10% of the user base, meaning that 90% of the users are just there for fun, just to play games. But when you look from the developer's perspective, and if we're thinking of developing a Web3 game, it all comes down to the business model and mathematics. It needs to make sense financially to go and integrate blockchain, integrate NFTs, and bring those additional experiences into their new titles. And one way to look into that is that once you introduce ownership angle in the form of digital collectibles, and I'm a big believer into abstraction, that blockchain wallets will simply disappear and we will continue signing up with emails or socials. And we will simply receive items which will belong to us, and we will carry some sort of value which me and my friends playing that game agree on, and that's the value which you get to take home. But that value straight away engages all of the 90% of the players who were playing these games for free without any incentive. We were just playing those games just to have fun for the reward loop. But suddenly we are kind of engaged financially. It can be, it doesn't need to be a big value addition, but that straight away changes all of your metrics from the game developer's perspective. And I think we're still yet to see the sustainability of this model, because sustainable games are that you need to have much more inflow of revenues coming into your developer's pocket to sustain a development instead of just launching a Web3 game. So I think, yeah.
How far away do you guys think we are from having like a Web3 Fortnite type of game?
Not too far. There's a lot of games being built at this moment in this
Well,
space.
give us
And
a little
there's-
prediction. I think we should go around. I want to hear your predictions so that we could look back at this and be like, ha, yeah, or like, ha, no.
I actually played a title that is based it was one-to-one to Fortnite. So it already exists.
Oh, it already exists.
So,
Oh, okay.
but it's not taking off. And the thing with gaming itself, like Web3 gaming and the buzzword play to earn, when you look as an economist on those digital economies, play to earn facilitates primarily one side of the market, which is the supply side. Why is that? People come in, they earn assets, they buy assets, whatever mechanism they use to accumulate those assets. If they come in with the objective to really dump them as soon as the price goes up, you have there the supply side. So how do you grow the demand side for those assets? And this comes, in my opinion, really with the fun factor. Like, we heard this now various times. Fun is the driving factor to make games sustainable. And I think it's not different for Web3 games, same as for Web2 games. If people don't enjoy playing it, it will be a ghost town.
Bringing the fun back, Michael. Bringing the fun back.
Just one word. I think we know we'll be there when we don't talk about NFT, metaverse, or even maybe Web3 gaming, wallet. I think when it will just be gaming. And we will abstract all that complication, and people won't even know maybe that they're interacting with Web3. One of the most successful NFT drop in the history was Reddit. 10 million people minted an NFT on the wallet without knowing they minted an NFT on the wallet.
Yeah.
And I think
Hundo P, because like Call of Duty players right now, they have no idea what game engine it runs on, what cloud infrastructure it runs on. It all depends. Exactly. So I think spot on there. It's like once we stop talking about the infrastructure and then the tokens, the NFTs, that's when it's starting to normalize. I would take a contrarian view, and we're probably 3 to 5 years out. And the only reason I say that is look at the rise of mobile games. Like Unity came out as a game engine in 2004. And then Apple came out with the iPhone in 2008. And only until you saw 2010 did people understand like the unique factors of mobile gaming. You started seeing Fruit Ninja. And then 2012, you started seeing, like League and Fortnite and all these things starting to pop up. It's going to be a minute, but someone's going to figure out that business model that's unique to blockchain, and then they'll unlock tens of millions of users and essentially get a piece of that, $300 billion annual TAM.
Guys, I could talk to you all day really about this. It says our time is up. However, I did learn a lot because, again, I had no idea Vitalik literally created Ethereum because he lost his assets on a game, which is just so incredible. I think we could learn a lot. And I'm really grateful for all of you to participate in this conversation. Thank you, guys. Give it up for the amazing speakers. Let's go. Come on, a little bit more than that, guys. Let's go. You did great, and thank you so much for this awesome talk. Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Bye, Paris. You're awesome.